Hey everyone, we're back for another deep dive, and let's face it, debt's a pretty big topic these days.
It really is. It can feel like this huge weight, like it's holding you back from, well, everything.
Absolutely. Feels
Yeah.
like you're kind of just stuck. But guess what? We're going to tackle two super popular ways to deal with it today: the snowball and avalanche methods.
And you know what's interesting about these methods? It's not just about the numbers. It's like a mental game too, right? Getting your head in the right space.
Totally. It's so easy to feel like, where do I even start with all this?
Right. It can be super overwhelming. So first things first, you got to get a handle on what you're actually dealing with.
Okay, so how do we do that?
It's like taking inventory. Grab a pen and paper or a spreadsheet if you're fancy and list out every single debt you have. What kind of debt is it? How much is it? What's the interest rate?
Yeah, that makes sense. Seeing it all laid out, it's got to be less scary than just having it all jumbled up in your head.
Exactly. It takes away that feeling of the unknown. And once you have that clear picture, you can start setting some goals.
Goals are important, right? Like a roadmap to get where you want to go.
Totally. And not just any goals, specific, achievable goals. Don't just say, I want to be debt free. Try something like, I'm going to pay off my credit card by, let's say, December. Something concrete.
I like that. It's like, okay, that date is circled on my calendar. I'm running towards that finish line.
Exactly. It gives you something to work towards, keeps you motivated.
So we've got our list, we've got our goals. Now let's talk strategies. We hear a lot about the snowball and avalanche methods. Can you break those down for us?
All right, so picture a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger. That's the idea here. You start by paying off your smallest debt first, no matter the interest rate. Once that's gone, bam, you move on to the next smallest, and so on.
Okay, so it's about momentum, getting those quick wins to keep you going.
Exactly. You get that sense of accomplishment early on, and it keeps you motivated to tackle the bigger debts.
Makes sense. Now, what about the avalanche? I feel like that sounds a little more, I don't know, intense.
You could say that. It's more about being strategic with your money. With the avalanche method, you prioritize the debt with the highest interest rate.
Oh, I see. So even if it's a larger debt, you're actually saving money in the long run by tackling that high interest first.
You got it. It's like you're minimizing the damage that interest can do.
So snowball is more for the motivation boost, and avalanche is more for the math whizzes out there.
You could put it that way. It really comes down to what works best for you, for your personality. There's no right or wrong answer. The key is to pick a method and stick with it. Give it a good try, maybe 3 months, and then see how you're feeling, see if you need to tweak anything.
Flexibility is key.
Hmm.
Now, I think a lot of people listening might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but where am I going to find the extra cash to even start paying down this debt?
Yeah, that's a common concern. But honestly, a lot of times we have more wiggle room in our budget than we realize.
Okay, so where do we start looking?
Start with those recurring expenses, streaming services, gym memberships, subscription boxes. Are you really using all of those? Could you cut back on some?
That's so true. Those little subscriptions can really add up without you even noticing.
Right. And think about your daily habits. Bringing lunch to work instead of eating out, making coffee at home. Those small changes can make a difference over time.
And don't forget about negotiating those bills. Sometimes you can get a lower rate just by asking.
Absolutely. And if you really want to kick things into high gear, think about ways to bring in some extra cash. A side hustle, selling stuff you don't need, there are tons of options out there.
All right, so we've got our goals, our method, and we're finding ways to free up some money. But let's be real, paying off debt can take time. How do we stay motivated for the long haul?
I'm all about celebrating those wins no matter how small. Paid off a parking ticket, high five, made an extra payment on your loan, do a little dance. It keeps things fun and reminds you that you're making progress.
Love that. It's like rewarding yourself for those small victories along the way.
Yeah.
Keeps you focused on the bigger picture.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of community. Find an accountability partner. Join an online group. Sharing your journey with others can really help you stay on track.
It's true. Knowing you're not alone in this fight can make a huge difference. Well, wow, we've covered a lot today. From understanding our debt, to choosing a repayment method, to finding extra cash and staying motivated, it's been a deep dive for sure.
It has been. And remember, you've got this. Now that you've got all this info, think about what one small step you can take today to start your debt-free journey.
That's a great question to leave everyone with. Thanks for listening. And remember, we're all in this together.
Absolutely. Onward to financial freedom.